Good morning. So I thank you for filling in because this morning we're going to share this with the BeatCancer.Org community, which
Awesome.
we did our first Facebook Live with yesterday. Debbie is missing in action. I'm not sure where she's at. But
Awesome.
we wanted to talk about a incredible test that could be part of a cancer prevention program because no one wants to get cancer, right?
No, absolutely not.
Right, right. We check for diabetes, we check for, heart disease, but we don't ever try and prevent cancer. So in my new book, Cancer Free, Are You Sure? There's a plethora of tests that you can ask your doctor for. And so we're going to highlight some of those. And one of them today is called the AMAS test.
The AMAS, how do you spell it?
It's A as in apple, M as in Mary, A as in apple, S as in Sam. So AMAS, it stands for the Anti-Malignant Autobody in Serum Test.
AMAS?
And it's a very simple blood test. And it can be a great part of your cancer prevention program because the anti-malignant antibody test actually looks for an antibody called the anti-malignant antibody that is produced when cancer cells are present in your body. And this level can go up super early in the process of developing cancer, years before you would ever know you had a problem, and time for you to implement some lifestyle things and turn it around so you never get that diagnosis. It's kind of a little glimpse into the future.
That's awesome, because really what your book is about discovering things 7 to 10 years earlier than what other tests do. Other tests really confirm something that's just showing up right at that time, lumps, bumps, and that sort of thing.
Right.
Whereas you are getting ahead of the game with actual real prevention.
Right. And because I want to see warehouses full of chemotherapy getting dusty that no one ever has to use.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a cool test. And I interviewed Dr. Sam Bogosh, who his father developed the test. He was a graduate of Harvard University. And it's one of the interviews in my Cancer Free University, which if anybody wants to even learn more after we finish talking about this, they can go to cancerfreeuniversity.com. And you can sign up for the university. And if you, on the payment screen, if you put in Cancer 50, CANCER 50, it makes it half price, which is it's like $260, $270. And there's over 70 interviews there. You can, to me, the value is incredible. We spent way more than that producing this and traveling to gather the data. So let's talk about this anti-malignant test. So when cancer's growing in the early phases of it, when the cells are replicating fast, the body produces something called malignant. The cancer cells produce that, and then the body will produce the anti-malignant antibody in your blood. So it's kind of a cause and effect thing. So you just go to your doctor and you say, I'd like the AMAS test. And the AMAS test will, they'll just put your arm out, take a simple blood draw. The results take, let's see how long. I have all this on about 5 days to come back. They send the blood off and they're looking for levels of how much of this anti-malignant antibody are in your blood. So it's really great because if you have a normal range, then that's absolutely fine. Like 0 to 99 is pretty much is regular. But if it starts to get elevated, you go, might have something going on here. And in my book, I have a letter from Dr. David Getoff. He's out in California. He's an incredible practitioner. And whenever he sees those levels start to just elevate slightly with his patients, he gets them on a great supplementation program, a detox program, and he's able to bring that level back down.
So let me ask a question, because this would be the first question I would ask.
Right.
Can this test be run by my regular physician, or do I need to go to an oncologist for this type of test?
Right. No, any physician can order it. And I'm going to tell you, the cost of the lab is $249. But you have to understand your doctor has someone he's paying to draw your blood. And then there is some shipping because it has to go on dry ice overnight to the lab. Okay. But it's not going to tell you the site of origin, but it will give you just a little indicator that maybe we need to make some changes, because I say over and over and over, cancer is a PLDD. It's a preventable lifestyle-driven disease. And if we get after it years before our traditional scans and tumor markers at these oncology clinics would find it, with a simple heads up that we're given with something like the anti-malignant antibody test, we can make those corrections and let the immune system kick in and go take care of those cells.
Well, what this really boils down to, Jenny, is when we think about the cost of this test at $249 for the lab, and then let's just say $500 the doctor and a lab and all of that. That's a cheap price to pay, considering I had a friend whose wife had cancer, and they were going to start chemotherapy. They wanted $10,000 up front before they would even start the chemotherapy. And when you compare 500 to 10,000, and you can catch it even earlier and start some of these lifestyle preventable measures, then you could head off $10,000 worth of chemotherapy.
Not to mention the suffering.
Not to mention what chemotherapy does to your body.
Right.
It's just really a no-brainer.
Right. And so this is the thing you need to know about this test. It is great for early detection, but in late disease, if you've had cancer for many years, you may get a negative, because in late cancer, the immune system is so suppressed. It doesn't even have the energy to push out that anti-malignant antibody test. So this is really an early test. It's a test for people with non-terminal cancer. And also a cool thing about it is, if you are doing therapies, if they're just natural therapies, like changing your lifestyle, eating a clove of garlic every day, adding some sulforaphane from broccoli in your diet, getting on a rebound or detoxing, you're taking some vitamin D and doing natural things to help bring that level down, whether you have the cancer diagnosis or not, it's a good gauge of whether what you are doing is being effective.
While you were talking right there, my mind just started going 1,400 different directions.
Right.
Because we're always talking about around here, and it's probably a daily conversation that I have with people about their diet. And I know that one time we had talked about, doing one of these shows on the keto diet, simply because there are some things that you can do in the keto diet that can help with this lifestyle preventable disease that we call cancer, that scares the living daylights out of most people. But you have taken the fear out of it with this book. And so with what Jenny is saying, just to throw it up right here, right now, is if you want to get a hold of Jenny's book.
Actually, how does that look? Is that a backwards one? There we go.
There it is.
Coming out October 2nd. And there's a whole chapter. The first test chapter is on the anti-malignant test chapter. There's over 40 chapters in the book. And this is just a simple little screening that you could ask your doctor for every 3 years. Just check it. And and another cool thing about it is, if you get like a false negative, or you say you get someone has early cancer and it comes back negative, that tells us that the immune system is not active enough to even put out that anti-malignant antibody. So you're going to want to work with a functional nutritionist or physician to help boost your immune system, so that you can even get it to produce the anti-malignant antibody. So people with poor immune system might get a false negative. So it's also a great indicator to see if your immune system's working.
And that would tell you also, since the largest degree of your immune system is in your colon, in your gut health, it would also tell you if you needed to improve your gut health in order to boost your immune system. Right. And then on top of that, you might even want to consider stem cell therapy, as it is like the ultimate immune system
booster,
regulates, balances it, and brings it back into line. So,
right. And people can contact me through my Facebook page if they're interested in that, because that really is the wave of the future. It's changing medicine. These cells have been here since, since Adam and Eve. We just have to learn that they can still do what they did when you were a tiny baby in your parents' womb, your mother's womb. And, it's important that all parts of the body work, and that we keep a little look on what's going on. We gauge, we don't wait, for the balloon to pop before we go, oh my goodness, I have a problem.
Yeah. Well, I had stem cell treatments in my neck and back about 7-8 weeks ago, something like that, maybe a little bit more.
Sure.
And I have since had, if you saw my x-rays, I actually have a DVD of them out in the truck. And I talked with Dr. Brunk yesterday and he said he had looked at them and in my neck where I had 0 disc space, 0. I mean, I was just pretty much bone on bone, in pain all the time, living off of ibuprofen and everything else to try to function. The stem cell injections regrew the disc in my neck, and you can see it clearly on my x-rays. And now I have been pain-free in my neck, my lower back for this entire time since I had the stem cell injections. But not only that, I've been experiencing nerve regeneration and a pinched nerve that run from my neck down to my hand. And I was a little worried at first because I was having some numbness. But as the stem cells have worked and my nerve has gotten renewed, I've actually, my arm and the nerve and the carpal tunnel problem I was having is actually about 98% better. I'm about 2% away from getting it fixed completely.
I'm hearing you, but this is so simple because it's the power that created your body. Those stem cells, from in the womb, is the power that's recreating your body.
Yeah,
we don't
absolutely
think it just happens. And even people who've had radiation therapy for cancer years ago, and they have nerve degeneration, they have decreased blood supply, they've got bone death from the decrease in the blood supply to the area. I'm hearing so many testimonies of them benefiting by stem cell therapy because they're able to regenerate that area, because chronic pain it's with you 24/7.
Well, here's the fact in case. And it goes right hand in hand with what you're doing with Cancer Free University, the Cancer Free book. But the fact is that stem cells were first used
1959
in bone marrow transplants. That's where it was first really started to take hold, was in its fight against cancer.
Sure.
And the deal is, and of course we legally we can't make claims and that sort of thing. But the fact is you can't argue with another person's testimony.
Right.
And the fact is we have testimonials from people who are just like us. Nobody's paying them anything. Nobody's they're not making any money off of this. But we know of people. I know of one person with more than 40 tumors in their lungs. Who got stem cell cancerous tumors sent home to die living on the beach.
Right.
That got stem cell treatment and is cancer free today. And you even know more. I mean, we're hitting the highlights, but the fact is if I'm not mistaken, is that cancer cells are a type of a stem cell, and that's why good stem cells work so powerfully against them. If I'm saying that right, correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, stem cells go out and they seek out inflammation. They seek out bad cells. Cancer cells are signaling inflammation. That's the root of almost all disease, of arthritis, of everything. So, we don't actually know how everything works, but the proof is in the pudding. And I love to hear those powerful testimonies. And the reality is, if you get a bad AMAS test, stem cell therapy can help boost your immune system. There's so many things that we can do. And that's why in Cancer Free University, I go through all the testing. I have people interview them on different therapies. We have interviews on stem cell therapy. And then in my book, I tell you how to get the test, the website, how much it costs, how long it takes. And I also go over all the different therapies. So it's time for us to wake up and become personally responsible for our health. Do a little bit of work on the front end so we don't get in a bad situation where then we really, have to pull out all the stops to try and, to get rid of pain, to regenerate, or just to even survive a cancer diagnosis.
You're exactly right. We need to be proactive and not responsive in this case.
Right.
Most of the time we are reactive, because that's what most of the time people get the diagnosis. Sometimes it's just way too late.
Right. It is way too late.
And the protocols and processes that you would have to go through to get any kind of result are, I've seen it firsthand in my own family, to where my grandmother, I remember, and you've heard me tell this story, how she got cancer and how it took her body downhill. She went from a vibrant, very black-headed woman with a lot of life and vigor to almost overnight her hair turned white. She became pale. It was just it was such a transformation in a short period of time.
Right.
And I'm saying, and when I hear about these things like this, and I remember the shock that was in my heart when I saw her that first time after she had been in the hospital and had some treatments and things like that, the shock and the grief in my own heart for her. And and now we have tools. And that's what the Cancer-Free book, the Cancer-Free Are You Sure book, is a tool to help you detour past all these washed out roads that are in front of us that could kill us when it comes to cancer. And we get a clear path to a clear result and much better health overall. Right. By following these preventative measures.
Right. So listen, John, so I've got to go, but next week, I want to talk about a phone call that I got yesterday from a gentleman who heard me speak at the Best Answer for Cancer conference out in Florida. And I mentioned a test that is literally saving his life. He literally brought tears to my eyes. It was so exciting. This man was sent home on hospice, stage 4 cancer, and his tumors are melting away now because he insisted on one of the tests that we heard me talk about. So I thank you for jumping in today. We'll share this interview with the BeatCancer.Org community. But the AMAS test, if you want to order my book, go to cancerfreebook.com. You'll get it, buy one, get one free. You'll get the e-version and the printed copy and another resource that I wrote called Living Cancer-Free Made Simple. So check out .org, cancerfreebook.com, and Cancer Free University. And
amen.
All this time next week. God bless everybody.
Awesome. Bless y'all. Thanks for joining Jenny and I today. Have a great day. And if you have any questions, send us a message on the Cancer Free University page, or message Jenny on her personal profile page, Jenny HrBacek. That is HrBacek.
Perfect.
HrBacek, Jenny HrBacek. Thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.